We're not always advocates around here for doing band-aids to your suspension. Sometimes it's best to just do it right from the very beginning, but there is some scenarios where doing something like a lift block will solve a small problem, like the back end dragging a little bit when you're getting on the ferry.
Holy crap, that thing is giant up there. What's up, guys? Welcome to Vantoy's Overland Gear. Today we have a great big Ford E450 Class C RV in here, and we are going to put in a set of lift blocks in the rear as the customer just wants to bring the back end up just a little bit. This thing is in beautiful condition. They say they've had this thing for 4 years and it looks brand new underneath this thing. 4 years on the road and that thing looks brand spanking new. One pooper.
It's like it's an important thing to
People have been enjoying the poopers.
Yep.
Thanks, bro.
All right. You have fun.
Yeah, see you later.
Cheers.
A lot of those toilets have been going out the door these days. That is one huge rig. So it's a Graco Red Hawk. And what we're gonna do this morning for the customer is we're just gonna raise the back end up a little bit. We're gonna measure the height, and then the customer will make the choice on how large of a lift block that they'd like to go.
Before the customer brought the RV into us today, he drove the back tires up on a 2x4 so he could see what a 1.5 inch lift looks like, and he said, well, he's in the ballpark of roughly about there. So we're raising it up 2 inches right now so he could see what a 2-inch lift looks like. And, well, if you can tell, as we drop it down, 2 inches is actually a fair amount. Raising it up any more than 2 inches, we would need to change out the rear shocks for a longer shock.
All right, so we raised the back up a little bit. The customer's chosen to go with a 2-inch lift block. These are the lift blocks right here that'll be going into it, which would be nice, just kind of raises it up a little bit. The problem they're having here is the leveling jacks in the rear, because that is low lying there. That's the problem with some of these RV things. You have all these things that are hanging super low that just really kind of take away from the departure angle. So driving in somewhere becomes troublesome. That's why you see a lot of the guys doing like the 6-inch kit or the 4-inch kit just to get everything up, making a lot more of the roads and places you travel way more accessible. Steve, your stuff's on its way. All right, this big lift kit's on its way to Ontario.
That was fast, man. We just put it in, and all of a sudden you showed up. Oh, that's good. Let's grab it now.
That was super fast. We literally just put it into the system. They were here within an hour. Steve, your lift kit is on its way. I'm gonna send you the picture of it. It's just dangling there?
It's dangling and rubbing against the frame. You can see the marks on the frame.
Oh, no way.
And part of it was being crushed with this little shield because of the overload. So I'll straighten out that.
Think about those. All it takes for these guys from,
Zip ties. Literally the rest of the wiring is right behind there. Like there's the main trunk.
Yeah.
All they had to do is strap it to it. Okay, so we're putting a 2-inch lift block in the back of this motorhome. Pretty straightforward. Undo the U-bolts here. The block goes in between the saddle on the diff and the spring pack itself. So we have some longer U-bolts to go in, all new hardware, and then tapered lift block so that it corrects the drive shaft angle at the same time with the extra little bit of lift. Not quite down far enough yet. These were straight up and down, and with having the overload there, it had actually contacted these at some point and bent it. And
I
then
wonder if that maybe from when we bottomed out a few times. Would that
Well-
have done that?
possibly, well, I ended up bending them in so that they won't contact there anymore.
Okay.
And then some of your wiring on this side, you can see the new zip ties there.
Yeah.
This wiring was actually in between here.
Howdy. Hey guys, nice to meet you too, sir. My camera's always rolling. Okay, we're just doing lift blocks on a Class C RV right
Awesome.
now. Yeah.
We just did a little, that's our red hop there. I hope
So
you
you-
don't mind me park right there for
Oh
a
no,
minute.
it's all good. It's all good.
We just want to stop in and wave.
We've been following both of you guys for 5 years and subscribers. Both of us because that like.
As a puzzle for you.
Thanks a lot. All right, 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Appreciate it.
No problem, man, no problem.
Awesome to meet you both.
You guys still enjoy your travels. You guys are
See you
That sits a little better.
Much better.
If you look how low that was when it came in,
Yeah, every time I went over a bump or something, my butt cheeks were clenching.
I mean, like 2 inches is still not a ton, but it'll definitely help those moments when you're just in that brink of scraping.
Yeah.
Because even coming in here, it was that's a tight fit.
It was a,
We don't have much of a dip to get in. Like even just that stance looks like it should. I can see this close and nobody sees my man boots. And it makes me look tough. This is always a little bit nerve-wracking, but check out the little keychain. Look at little Spidey. Little Spider-Man. It's always scary when you're driving those kind of things out. Well, because when you go back and you have no mirrors, because the mirrors are folded in, and you know these things are coming up soon. Oh, that looks way better.
and right now,
This is beautiful in here.
right now this whole side is in, but it goes out another 3 feet. 2 to
Wow,
3
so that
feet.
brings that right to the far edge.
Yeah, and then we've got a 50-inch screen TV there to your left.
Wow.
A 40-inch fireplace,
Look at the little bathroom.
and then a bathroom.
That's a little piece of luxury back there.
Oh yeah, she likes it. Yeah,
That's amazing. A full front room because that would go all the way out.
that, and then this is your Murphy bed that drops down.
The color combos on this in the front?
Yeah. So you
Super
get
nice.
this again, but all this in what they call beechwood or something. It's real white.
Yeah.
I was not really keen. But
Yeah.
as when COVID started, this wasn't even on the market yet. It was
Yeah.
somebody bought it, and then we ended up buying it. So it's used, but it only had like 4,000 on it.
Oh, nice.
You know.
Yeah, I definitely like the color combo in here.
Yeah.
That on the black looks really good. I like that sticker. Let's go camping and never come back. See you later. Thanks again, eh? No problem. That looks way better in the back. So much more clearance under that thing. A couple inches. All right, guys, we have vehicle number 2 up on the lift. This one's getting a 1.5-inch lift block in the rear just to kind of correct the ride because the back end was sitting a little low. It's a good little Band-Aid if you don't want to do a full suspension kit. We've been trying to convince this young lady here to do a 5-inch Baja grocery getter, and she's not quite there yet, but 1.5 inches will do. when you get a guy to come work at Van Toys, I'm not sure if they really expect that camera to be put in their face the whole time. How you feeling, Daryl?
Yeah, it's fine.
And that's it. 1.5-inch lift blocks in the back, leveled that thing right out. Looks way better than it did with the back sag on the bottom. All right, another one done here today. That is looking pretty amazing. So I just got a message from John and Linda, who were in here this morning with their Class C RV. And they said, hey, Chrome, thanks for taking care of our RV. We really appreciate your excellent customer service. When we got to the ferry, there was no bottoming out and no butt clenching. It was really nice to meet you. Take care and remember to stay safe out there. So awesome to know that they can travel now without having any butt clenching when they're going into gas stations or getting on and off the ferry. So they were telling me today that every time they get on and off that ferry to come to Vancouver Island, they always bottom out, because what can happen is the boat can sit at different heights in the water as the tides are different. So the ramp can sometimes be this way, can sometimes be this way. So you never really know what you're gonna get or how bad it's going to be. But it was nice to know that that 2 inches made all the difference in the world. So there is a right time and a wrong time to do lift blocks. And in that scenario with the RV here today, it was the ideal scenario. They're not doing any backcountry. They weren't complaining about any other driving suspension problems. They didn't complain about the vehicle wandering too much or too much lean when they're turning around all the corners, or they weren't going out in the backcountry. All those other scenarios, I would have definitely recommended to go with a full suspension kit from Welltec Designs, because it would have solved all those problems. But the only problem they had was just getting in and out of gas stations, going on and off the boat. So when we assess the situation, you have a rear leaf spring that is doing its job. It's holding up the weight of the vehicle. And how you can tell that is if the leaf spring is in a smile position, even the littlest bit of smile, it's in good shape. If it's in a frown position or even close to a frown position, that leaf spring is not doing its job anymore, and definitely in time, it needs to be replaced to support the weight of your rig, your water tanks, and all your stuff you have in there. You need to make sure that all that stuff supports the weight of your home, or it's not going to handle well. And looking at the second scenario, I've been trying to get her to put a 5-inch kit in her vehicle, because she spends a lot of time out in the backcountry, but she doesn't want to put down the money because she's really not too sure if that vehicle is in her 5-year future. She's not sure if she wants to make that investment. So in this one here too, she just wanted to improve the ride height in the back. The leaf springs, they were getting tired, they were starting to sag, but she really didn't want to go the distance to put a support leaf in there or anything. So to put a lift block in the back to make her happy, to bring that back end up a little bit, is a great Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid, because if those leaf springs are getting tired, they're going to continue to sag and continue to sag. Before you know it, that 2-inch lift that we put on there is no longer going to be a 2-inch lift in the rear anymore. So in her scenario, you definitely would want to make sure that those leaf springs are good enough to support the weight of your vehicle. But in that scenario, that may get her through another couple years and keep her happy. Then it is what it is. That's what matters. All right, guys, thanks for watching today's video. Please hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't. And if you have any questions about anything whatsoever, feel free to hit us up. We're always here to make sure that your rigs stay on the road, stay safe, and look mighty badass.